Hello and welcome to 5 Minutes with the Family. I'm Fukui Drew and today I'll be diving headlong into the headache-inducing world of Super Mario Picross. While the idea of creating low-res, oversized pixel art might have you reaching for the extra-strength Tylenol, this puzzler, released in 1995, is surprisingly addictive and fun. And while it is a little bit hard on the eyes, just imagine, this is actually a sequel of a Game Boy game that was released on a much smaller screen. So remember this when the tiny boxes make your eyes cross. First, it's important to know that Picross puzzles weren't invented by Nintendo. Print versions of these puzzles had already appeared nearly 8 years before this game was released, though they aren't called Picross today. They go by many names: Cross Pix, which is just Picross in reverse if you think about it, Hanjie puzzles, Gridlers, Philipix, Paint by Numbers. For me, ever since I discovered a book of these puzzles at Daiso, Japan's 100 yen store, I've known them as Illustrated Logic Puzzles. But perhaps the most accurate name is nonograms, in honor of their creator, Non Ishida. The goal of nonograms is to create simple, monochromatic pixel images using clues provided by the puzzle. You can play on grids ranging in size from 5x5 to 25x25, revealing images when you complete them. Some images, like floppy disks, feel a little bit out of date, don't they? Others, such as the Shoshinsha mark for new drivers, Kappa or Kaguya Hime, are culturally Japanese. If you're studying Japanese or interested in its rich culture, the game is actually a fun way to pick up simple but useful vocabulary words, written in more gaijin-friendly hiragana text. And if you don't know Japanese, don't worry, it's still very easy to pick up and play. Plus, Mario even says a few words in English. The game includes a decent-looking tutorial mode, but it's all in Japanese, so here's a quick rundown for Western audiences. Let's use, level 2C as an example. The game board is a grid, with numbers listed above and to the left of each row and column. These numbers tell how many squares should be filled in and whether they are grouped together. If a column has a 5, you know that there are 5 consecutive black squares somewhere along the row or column. If there's a 9 and the grid is only 10 squares tall, then there will be only one blank space if you think about it. But we don't know its exact location. It could be at the top or at the bottom. However, we can still fill in most of the squares by counting 9 spaces from the top and 9 spaces from the bottom to find the places where it overlaps. Some rows and columns have multiple numbers, meaning there are groups of black squares separated by at least one blank square. For example, a 1, 5, 2 sequence indicates there's one black square, some blank spaces, 5 black squares, another unknown number of blank spaces, and then 2 black squares. By analyzing the grid carefully, you can fill in squares confidently without guessing. For example, this 1, 5, 2 sequence perfectly fits into the puzzle like so. By applying this mechanic to all rows and columns, the image will slowly present itself. And similar to Sudoku, there's always a logical solution, no need for guessing. If you enjoy the puzzle mechanic, there's plenty of content here. 300 puzzles, some taking over 20 minutes to complete. But don't take more than 30 minutes or you'll get a game over screen. It's one of the game's few ways of adding a challenge to an otherwise straightforward game. That said, it's tough to hit the time limit if you know what you're doing. To show you this graphic, I was just going to wait for 30 minutes, but then I realized I could just get a number of time penalties to see it faster. The presentation is pleasant with catchy music, clean menus, and the occasional puzzle animation. My main gripe? This game really doesn't need to exist as a video game. Book versions of these puzzles work just as well and eliminate the frustration of accidentally pressing the wrong button, leading to ego-shattering penalties. Still, given how inexpensive Super Mario Picross is right now, it could be more cost-effective than buying books from Amazon. I got my complete copy with instructions, inserts, and even the original special coupon for 1,000 yen. I'd buy it again in a heartbeat. One disappointment is the underwhelming Mario branding. It reminds me of a time when I was like 8 years old traveling to Kuala Lumpur. There I ate at a KFC which had a giant cardboard cutout of Michael Jackson. Honestly, I was so proud to take my picture with it and show it off to all my friends. Super Mario Picross feels kind of like that. Mario and Wario are just cardboard cutouts here. Cool only at first glance, but ultimately becoming less impressive the more you play. Besides these lifeless, soulless stairs, most puzzles have nothing to do with the Mario universe. I imagine that with minimal effort, NES sprites could have been incorporated, but instead we get Marilyn Monroe and sewing machines. The Game Boy version released 6 months earlier actually had more Mario-themed puzzles. What happened? But, despite its flaws, I can't hate this game. I love puzzles, and I played this nearly non-stop until I finished. The solid presentation and repetitive but enjoyable music help. even if it isn't perfect. Overall, I'd rate this game, 61 out of 100. And with that, I'll wrap up my 15th episode. Everyone, thanks for coming. And remember, in life as in with games, be a hero, select your goals, and start your adventure. This has been 5MF. Thanks.